In the heart of an ancient jungle, a world teeming with vibrant life, there lived a tribe of gorillas. Their days were a peaceful rhythm of foraging, playing, and resting under the vast, emerald canopy. Leading them was not a king, but a guardian, a silverback of immense size, yet whose strength was matched only by his gentle spirit. He was the protector of his family, a silent sentinel who ensured the harmony of their world. He watched the young ones tumble and play, their laughter echoing through the trees, and knew a profound contentment. This was his home, his family, his everything. But beyond the veil of their tranquil existence, a shadow was creeping, born from the stars and nurtured by ambition. One fateful night, the sky fractured. A celestial body, a meteor of unknown origin, blazed across the heavens and crashed deep within the jungle's forbidden territories. It wasn't just a rock from space, it pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly energy, a corrupting force that seeped into the very soil, twisting the life it touched. And one creature was drawn to its malevolent glow. A lone, formidable ape, already a rogue driven by a thirst for dominance, found the meteor. As he laid his hand upon its pulsing surface, the alien energy surged through him. His muscles coiled and swelled to unnatural proportions, his eyes burned with a savage, crimson light, and his mind was flooded with one singular, tyrannical purpose: to conquer. He was no longer just an ape, he had become the Warlord. The peace was shattered without warning. The Warlord ape, now a monstrous titan, descended upon the jungle with his newly formed army of corrupted creatures. He moved like a storm, tearing through the familiar paths, his roars of conquest drowning out the natural sounds of the forest. Villages of smaller monkeys were scattered, ancient trees were torn down as displays of power, and a pall of fear fell over the once vibrant land. The Warlord's shadow stretched long and menacing, reaching the edge of the gorilla's territory. The air grew heavy with the scent of fear and aggression, a scent our peaceful guardian knew all too well. He saw the terror in the eyes of the fleeing creatures and heard the distant roars of the invader. The harmony he had sworn to protect was being ripped apart. His family was in danger, the inevitable confrontation came swiftly. The Warlord, seeking to subjugate all, arrived at the gorilla's home. He stood on a ridge, a grotesque silhouette against the setting sun, and issued his challenge, not with words, but with a ground-shaking roar that promised utter subjugation. The gorilla tribe huddled in fear, their peaceful world on the brink of collapse, but their guardian did not cower. He stepped forward, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the Warlord's frothing rage. He met the invader's gaze, not with aggression, but with a silent, unyielding resolve. This was his home. He would not let it fall. The first clash was brutal. The guardian, relying on natural strength and instinct, fought valiantly. But the Warlord's power was unnatural, a savage, chaotic force. He swatted the guardian aside as if he were a child, the blow sending him crashing through the undergrowth. The guardian was defeated, bruised, and humbled, but not broken. As the Warlord laughed, a guttural, triumphant sound, he left the guardian in the dirt, promising to return and claim everything. Lying there amidst the wreckage of his home, the guardian understood. Brute force alone would not be enough to defeat a monster born of cosmic rage. This wasn't just about being stronger. It was about being better, a new fire ignited within him. It wasn't the fire of anger, but the steady flame of determination. He retreated into the deepest, most secluded parts of the jungle, to a hidden waterfall that cascaded into a serene pool. This would be his sanctuary, his training ground. He began a grueling regimen, not just to build his body, but to forge his spirit. He stood for hours under the punishing force of the waterfall, learning to root himself to the earth, to become as immovable as the mountain itself. He practiced his strikes against ancient, ironwood trees, not just hitting them, but learning to feel the flow of energy from the ground, through his core, and into his fists. His training was silent, solitary, and absolute. He wasn't just building muscle, he was honing his focus to a razor's edge. He learned from the jungle itself. He watched the viper, learning its patience and the art of the sudden, precise strike. He observed the jaguar, mastering its stealth and fluid grace. He even learned from the intricate webs of the spider, understanding the power of strategy and foresight. Each day, his movements became more efficient, his mind clearer, his spirit more centered. He was shedding the raw, instinctual fighter and becoming a master of disciplined combat. The rage he felt after his defeat was channeled, refined, and transformed into pure, focused will. He was no longer just a protector. He was becoming a weapon forged by nature and tempered by heart. He knew the Warlord would return, and this time, he would be ready. The fate of the entire jungle now rested on his broad, disciplined shoulders. The air grew still. A hush fell over the jungle as the Warlord ape returned, his massive form blotting out the sun. He had come to finalize his conquest, to crush the last beacon of defiance. He strode into the clearing, expecting to find a broken tribe, but instead, he found the Guardian waiting for him. The Guardian stood alone, not with fear, but with a quiet confidence that radiated power. He was bigger, yes, but the true change was in his eyes. They held the calm stillness of a deep lake, reflecting an unbreakable spirit. The final battle for the jungle was about to begin. With a roar that split the air, the Warlord charged. But this time, the Guardian didn't just meet force with force. He moved with a newfound grace, deflecting the Warlord's savage blows, turning his opponent's rage against him. Their fists met and the shockwave cracked ancient trees in half. The ground itself trembled with the force of their titanic struggle. The Warlord was a storm of fury, his meteor-fueled strength seemingly limitless. He landed devastating blows that would have felled a lesser creature, but the Guardian endured, his body hardened by the waterfall, his will forged in solitude. He took the punishment, channeling the pain, waiting for his moment. He was no longer just defending. He was analyzing, learning his enemy's rhythm, seeking the flaw in the monster's power. The battle raged, a blur of fur and fury. The mountain shook, and the jungle held its breath. The Warlord, growing frustrated by his opponent's resilience, unleashed a final, desperate torrent of attacks, putting all of his cosmic rage into every strike. He was a whirlwind of destruction. But in his fury, he became predictable. The Guardian saw his opening. Ducking under a wild swing, he channeled all of his training, all of his love for his family, all of his will to protect his home, into one single, decisive blow. It wasn't a strike of anger, but a strike of pure, concentrated purpose. It landed with the force of a falling mountain. There was a deafening crack, not of bone, but of the unnatural energy that fueled the tyrant. The Warlord froze. The crimson glow in his eyes flickered and died, replaced by a look of shock, and then nothing. The immense creature swayed, then crashed to the ground, his fall shaking the earth one last time. Silence descended upon the clearing. The dark energy that had plagued the land dissipated like smoke, and a collective sigh of relief seemed to pass through the very leaves of the jungle. The Guardian stood over his defeated foe, breathing heavily, his body bruised but his spirit unbroken. He had won. He hadn't just defeated a monster. He had extinguished a plague. Slowly, from the trees and shadows, the creatures of the jungle emerged. The gorilla tribe rushed to their hero, not with loud cheers, but with quiet, profound respect and love. The jungle was free from tyranny. The Guardian looked at his family, at the morning sun filtering through the canopy, and felt the familiar rhythm of peace return. The forest once again echoed with harmony. Thank you so much for joining us on this epic journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an adventure. We'll see you in the next video.